Okay guys, so the original plan for today was going to be grinding out that 5-way Shimano MGL Senko battle. And unfortunately, I woke up too late in the day to be able to do that. I would have needed at least a good 4 hours to get that test done the right way. So instead, what I did was I decided to do a battle that everyone loves, and that's Shimano versus Daiwa. And in this particular case, it's going to be the Shimano Citica I, a reel that I'm pretty sure everyone forgot even was still for sale, against Daiwa's latest and greatest, and I use that term greatest loosely, Tatula 100, which replaced the Tatula CT Type R. So this is going to be a very interesting battle because the platform that the Citica I is based off of, which is the old CURADO I, is going to be 5 years old in a couple of months. I believe the CURADO I was released in February of 2014. So boy, how time flies. So Shimano hasn't updated this in that time, so I assume it's going to be around for a little bit longer. While the Tatula was just released a couple of months ago. And this is the smallest, lightest Tatula yet. So you're probably wondering why I'm pitting these two together when you're thinking the more natural rival for the Tatula would be the CURADO K. And you're right, but Daiwa keeps lowering the price of the Tatula, so now it's not a direct competitor price-wise to that CURADO K, it's more of a direct competitor to the Citica. So the original Tatula CT Type R was $179, the same price as the CURADO K, but the new Tatula 100 has been dropped down to $159, and the Citica is only $149, so they are within $10 of each other. So anyone who's got a strict budget of 160 bucks for a bait caster are definitely going to be looking at these two reels. Now I wish I could have added a Abu Garcia REVO SX into this, but unfortunately Abu Garcia hasn't contacted me and offered to send one. So you guys email them and let them know that you want to see that reel tested on my channel. So this is going to be an interesting battle of old versus new. But before we get out in the field, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to weigh the spools on these things. Okay guys, I got the scale out and I'm going to weigh the reels first. This is for anyone who is considering either of these two reels since they're so closely priced. Now this is the Tatula 100, which is the smallest, lightest Tatula yet, weighing in at 6.86 ounces. And you can definitely feel the difference picking up one versus the other. And the Citica is coming in at 7.48, so you're looking at about a ½ ounce difference between the two. And like I said, you can tell picking up one right after the other. Okay, so let's get into these spools. Now, as I pulled the spool out of the Citica, I just wanted to point out something to you guys, that this is the only Shimano reel currently for sale that has these older style SBS Infinity brakes. Every other reel has moved on to the new style brakes that have those clear brake arms and they fly out a different way. So this is the old style, which is the second generation SBS Infinity. And the Tatula is featuring Daiwa's traditional MagForce Z brakes, which has the extending rotor. Hopefully you guys can see that. The rotor extends out into the magnets for more braking force during the hardest part of the cast. A very effective system. Okay, so let's look at what these spools weigh. So I know I was really disappointed in the weight of the Tatula spool. And if I don't remember correctly, yeah, 17.1 grams. So that was over 2 grams heavier than the outgoing Tatula Type R, which was very confusing. And then the Citica, I know the spool weighs the same as the CURADO I at 16.48. So the Citica has about a little bit over a half gram lighter spool, but if you put the spools together, you'll see the Citica has a much wider spool and a little bit deeper spool. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this is going to hold a lot more line than this. Now they both have the long spool shaft. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I wonder what these spools weigh with line. I'm going to have to test that out later. So yeah, we're going to get out on the field and see what's what. Old Shimano tech versus the latest Tatula. And don't forget that the Tatula has the T-wing line guide going for it. Alright guys, I will see you out on the field. Okay guys, so first up we have the Shimano Citica I. I have spool tension set to just minimize the side-to-side play. I have 2 internal brakes on, these 2 right here. I have the external dial set between 4 and 5, so pretty much 4.5. And of course we are throwing the 1/2 ounce lipless crankbait. So let's go. Okay guys, up next we have the Daiwa Tatula 100. I have the spool tension set just like it came out of the box from Daiwa. I didn't mess with it. And the external MagForce Z dial is on 7. And of course, we have the lipless crankbait. So let's go. Okay guys, so back from the field, And if you paid attention to those cast numbers, you'll know this was a really close and tight battle. And I didn't know who won until I actually got home and did the math. Now before we go over the results, I want to do something real quick, and that's weigh these spools when filled with line. Now in the first part of the video, I showed you guys that the Citica actually had a slightly lighter spool, but it's got a much bigger line capacity. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so the Citica had a 16.5 gram spool, and actually I'm going to raise this tripod. Okay, much better. Now the Citica had a 16.5 gram spool, and the Tatula 100 once again had a 17.1 gram spool. So when filled with line, the Citica weighs 28.4, so it gained roughly about 12 grams of weight. Now the Tatula comes in at 26.1, so it only gained about 9 grams of weight. So you're looking at, let me do this math in my head, 21. So the Citica spool went from being about half a gram lighter to being about 2.5 grams heavier when filled with line. Okay, so I'll put this away, and before we get to these results, what I'm going to do is, as you know, 22 other reels have went through this test. I'm going to put the reel that is currently in the lead. That is, of course, the 2016 Shimano Antares DC with an average of 184.2 feet in this contest. So these reels have that number to beat. And it comes as no surprise, they didn't even come close. But coming in second place is the Tatula 100 with an average of 150.6 feet. And then, of course, taking the win is the 5-year-old Shimano Citica I with 153 feet even. So they're about a good 10 yards or about 30 feet short of the Antares, but of course that has the digital braking and a much bigger spool. So it was very close, and now in fact both of these reels in practice hit a cast of over 160 feet, but could not duplicate that in the actual testing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys their positioning in the order of all the reels that have went through this test. So the Citica is right below the Tatula Type R and right above the Accurus PT, and the Tatula 100 is right below the Tatula SV and just above the Origin C. So the Tatula Type R actually casted farther than this Tatula 100 in this particular test. So that's something to note if you're a guy with a Type R and you were looking at this reel. Of course, several other tests are to come. A couple of notes in the field. I totally forgot how good the Shimano I platform actually was. I totally forgot because I haven't fished one in a while. But casting and retrieving this thing, the ergonomics are awesome. It was smooth. So if you're a guy that has a CURADO I and you're kind of wishing they didn't stop selling it, just grab you one of these because they're basically the same reel. This just has a better paint job. And also, the Tatula, even though I was, reeling in a lipless crank with no hooks through the grass, felt noticeably smoother than the Citica. And that is due, of course, to the air rotation, but mostly due to these knobs. The material is actually noticeably softer than the material, the Septon on the Citica, which is kind of strange because Shimano Septon is known to be probably the softest, grippiest type of rubber, but the Tatula has got it beat with these knobs. Alright guys, there's the first test of this head-to-head battle. Hopefully I'll get all the remaining tests done before Shimano replaces the Citica Eye, which I don't know if they're going to do anytime soon. Okay guys, thanks a lot.